Welcome back, everybody. Hot mic off and rolling here on this Friday morning. Getting ready to hit the air later. Part of our Forum and WDOI team leaving here shortly. Rest are taking off later today for Frisco, Texas, North Dakota State, Montana State to play Monday night for the national championship to wrap up the 2024 season. And our next guest, his last collegiate game came in Frisco, Texas against one Montana State. Even more so, he caught a touchdown in that game. It's great to see for Bison standout national champion Josh Babicz join us here this morning. What do you immediately remember when I say about that touchdown in the title game? What comes to mind?
Honestly, probably the celebration with my teammates and just the crowd roaring, everybody getting excited, up big, ready to win our next national championship. So,
all right, give me the backstory. Did you know the ball was coming to you on that play?
Oh yeah, it was a design play for the tight end. I knew exactly what was going to happen during that play.
So you know it's coming. Then you got to make the play. Tell us, give us. We're watching the highlights of it now. What do you remember about it? No one's near you, man.
No, and those are the hardest balls to catch. Those wide open, easy ones. But you just have to be calm. I've been through it 1,000 times. Make a big catch in the national championship game. Go score a touchdown.
That's what you dream about. Then you went and did it. Now that you've had a few years to reflect on it, how much more special is it now than it was 4 years ago when it happened?
Yeah, looking back, I would give anything, of course, to go back to play college football again, especially at NDSU. But yeah, a very surreal moment for me, and being able to do it on the big stage like a national championship. I know we've been through a couple, but being able to actually score in one was very exciting.
And no one was your last game too, Josh, right? That had to be even extra. I remember talking to you afterwards. That had to be even more special for it.
Yeah, last game with my fellow seniors, last game with my teammates, last game with my coaches, it meant so much to me, being able to play with everybody. But yeah, exciting game, exciting time, and I love looking back on it.
All right, crazy stat here, and this goes with most of your class. Of your 5 years, you went to Frisco 4 times. What stands out about the 4 trips down there?
Man, the whole experience is awesome. From when you get there, you're practicing outside, but just from all the events, charity events, or going to any like Top Golf and stuff, and just enjoying with your teammates, just the whole thing is surreal. Getting to see the old alumni during the alumni practice.
Yeah.
Those guys have their stories from the past championships when we were D2, and just all exciting and really fun to
give me we can't go to that, so give me the lowdown on the alumni practice, what that moment is like, especially when you were a senior.
Yeah, when I was a senior, you throughout your years you get to meet a couple of these guys, and you see them again and again and again because they come back to NDSU football games and whatnot. But yeah, just getting to learn their experiences and learn what they think about Bison Pride and what it means to them. It really just hits home once you become a senior. Like, I've gone through my 5 years here, and now I'm just reliving it through somebody else. It's really awesome.
It seems fitting, Josh. It's Montana State that this team is playing again. You played against them. They've played them now last year in the playoffs. Now again, some of these guys were in that game that you were in. Describe when you saw it was going to be Montana State. What went through your mind for this group?
Man, big old rematch is what I thought, because I'm sure those guys on the other side of the ball want to win just as badly as our guys do. And like you said, I played with a couple of the guys on the roster, and I was their senior, especially all the crew chiefs. Got shout them out, of course, with Joe, Logan, and Hunter. But it's going to be an exciting moment for all of them on the field there, and I'm sure everybody's going to be playing their hardest to get a victory. All
right, so give us, for the inside perspective, when Cam took over, what did you sense of him knowing, all right, he's ready to take the job and be the starting quarterback the middle part of your senior year? And how did he ascend to that job as you guys got to Frisco that year?
Man, Cam is such he's such a hard worker. I mean, he's always been ready for the moment. I mean, this is what you learn when you're at NDSU, especially like in the COVID season, he had to be thrown in there. So
Right.
knowing, I just knew he would be ready at any point if something were to happen to Quincy or whatever. But I mean, he took it in stride, and I mean, he made some plays along the way, and we got to the championship game partially because of him. And I mean, he's a great kid, and I just love watching him work, and I'm so happy and excited to see the year he's had.
How different is he now as a player, Josh, from when that game against Montana State there to what he is now? And he might be the Walter Payton winner.
Probably just his confidence level. I mean, when you're a young guy, you might have confidence, but you're still new to everything. You have seniors to lean on, but now he's a senior leader. He's the starting quarterback. He has all the confidence in the world to just go show everybody what he can do.
For that title game, your last game, were you nervous, excited, knowing this was it? The NFL was coming. You were you try pro ball, but what were your emotions before that last game?
Yeah, I mean, through that winter camp, I was just trying to enjoy every single moment I could on the practice field. I mean, making sure I give my last hurrahs with everybody, and yeah, those weeks flew by, and then all of a sudden it was the game, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, I gotta go travel and train, I guess, and be ready for the NFL. But yeah, just I gotta make sure you take in that whole experience and make sure you really value it. That's what I would tell the senior class right now.
So we've heard about winter camp. Is it comparable to fall camp? What is it about? Give us the lowdown on it. You experienced it 4 separate times.
Yeah, it is, but it's more. It's not an all day thing like fall camp is in the hot sun and stuff. Winter camp is nice and cold. You could wake up early in the morning, get your meetings, practice done. Then you have no school, you have no nothing. So the rest of the time you're just kind of hanging out with your teammates, either at the dining center or wherever, just trying to prepare yourself for the game ahead.
The afterwards, getting up on stage, what do you remember about? Is that blacked out memory, or is that stuff that comes clear to mind, especially the last one against Montana State?
The last one, I didn't rush the stage like a lot of people.
Where did you go?
Sure to say my thank yous, but once you get up there, I mean, yeah, just seeing all the fans flood the field and being, Coach Entz and like Hunter Lipke, because he was the MVP, talking to everybody. It just really just puts everything together for me to see, like, man, this is what it was all about for us, winning a national championship, giving back to the community, just making sure.
So you didn't rush the stage. Where did you go?
I was just making sure, because some of the guys on Montana State, of course, I know a little bit and stuff, but like I was just making sure to be sportsman-like and giving my last, like, hey, good game, see you, blah, blah. Because one of the guys I actually was going to play in the All-Star game with, their DN that year, so I was just talking to him a little bit.
So afterwards, we haven't had a chance to chat here. Obviously, you tried the NFL. Give me your thoughts on what that experience was like and achieving your dream that you were on an NFL roster.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of ups and downs, of course, but I would probably never trade that back for anything. A great experience to have. I mean, not a lot of people get to have it, and I'm just very thankful and grateful that I was a part of it. And I learned a lot. There's a lot of course, very good football players out there, a lot of vet guys that you get to learn from, whether it's Christian McCaffrey and Aaron Rodgers or the tight ends I was with. It was just, it was awesome to see how they worked. It was awesome to see how the league operated. But, that experience was great and all, and I had my ups and downs with my injuries and stuff. But yeah.
Was there a player you're like, holy cow, I'm lining up with next to this guy, or I watch this guy on TV and now I'm at practice with? Was there one that comes to mind?
The one that comes to mind, of course, is Rodgers, because I mean, he was one of the guys I really watched growing up, because when I used to be a quarterback when I was growing up, and man, every time I saw the guy, I was like, wow, I'm really just able to play catch and practice with Aaron Rodgers right now. This is amazing.
From that Montana State game, I tweeted out, you may have seen this, there's a photo of the entire offensive line that now has started a game in the NFL. I mean, at that point, did you guys even realize how good your offensive line was that year?
I mean, I knew these guys were good. I mean, we're rushing for 300 yards a game. These guys are awesome. I played with all of them, and yeah, I mean, they're all something. They're all physical, dominant people in the run game and dominant in the pass blocking game. So I knew they've all were going to get a chance at some point, but I didn't realize how good they were going to become. So
I know you helped out with the Horace football team this year. Tell me your experience with that. What was that like?
Yeah, it was great working with high school players. Trying to give back the knowledge that I've learned throughout my career in college and the NFL. And I got to work with some great coaches. Learned a lot from them through their experiences coaching for 10, 15, 20 years. And it was a great experience, especially to make it all the way to state and win it. And I never got to experience that in high school, so being able to experience that here at Horace was amazing. So.
All right, so I already know who you're going to pick on Monday, but give us a couple keys. How do you see this playing out for the game Monday night?
Man, it always comes down to the trenches, doesn't it? It always comes down to whether our defensive line and linebackers can stop their front seven and whether our O-line could impose their will in the run game. But, I mean, Cam's going to have to make some plays, and we're going to have to stop Tommy. I mean, he's a hell of a player too, and he's going to make some plays, and that's going to be okay, right? And we're just going to have to just, oh, well, it's in the past now. We got to focus on the present here. So
I'm contractually obligated to ask: who's the next in the line of Barrington great football players coming to Fargo? You can't be the last. What's the pipeline looking like? Do we know?
Oh, I'm sure Sanchez has some good players. I mean, they had a good year this year. I think they made it all the way to the quarterfinals in their state playoffs. And I watched a couple games. They have some really good players. So I hope here sometime in the next year or two we'll see some.
So can you confirm or deny? Because Lecomp's been on our show. Was he a legend at your high school as a punter? Is that accurate?
Yeah, I mean, Sanchez brought him up a lot. I mean, I heard about him before I got to NDSU and before I started, getting recruited by them. I'm like, NDSU, and then once I got recruited, I'm like, oh yeah, that him, the many years he was up here in North Dakota. So great guy, love him.
It's good to see you, bud. Happy New Year. Thanks for doing this. Enjoy the game. We'll talk soon. Okay.
Yep, sounds good. Appreciate it.
There he goes. Josh Babicz, former NDSU tight end, 4-time national champion. His last game as a Bison caught a touchdown in that national championship win over Montana State. I forgot how wide open he was on that play. And that's after the Bison were just doing everything. Kobe had a monster touchdown run. Lipke was running over dudes. Bison had some fun that day. I do not expect that on Monday. We got a much tighter game that's coming our way for Monday night. We're due for a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up hour one. Big second hour on tap, including picking some winners. We're back on Hot Mike on this Friday right after this.